The last topic in this unit, that is demultiplexer. So demultiplexer is nothing but it is the inverse operation of multiplexer. So in demultiplexer we have to pass only one transmission line as input, only one, that is single line as a input, that is single input, and it produces the 2 power n outputs, and it produces the 2 power n outputs. And how many selection lines are required here? There are n number of selection lines it will require. That is nothing but demultiplexer. So demultiplexer is nothing but it is an inverse operation of multiplexer. It receives the information on a single line. So source is nothing but it is receives the information on a single line, but it will produce as the output 2 power n, but it will produce as the output 2 power n. And how many selection lines it will require for demultiplexer? N selection lines. N selection lines. For example, we have to take 1 to 4 demultiplexer. 1 to 4 demultiplexer. It will pass source as only one, that is one input, and it produces the how many number of outputs? 4 outputs. 1 to 4 nothing but 1 to 4 demultiplexer. It will pass the one input line and it produces the 4 outputs. How many selection lines required? 4 is nothing but 2 power 2. So n is equal to 2. So how many selection lines here we will pass? 2 selection lines. That is the concept and definition of demultiplexer. So demultiplexer is nothing but it is a circuit that is receives the information on a single line and transmits this information on one of 2 power n possible output lines. One of 2 power n possible output lines. How many selection line requires, miss? N selection line requires. That is the demultiplexer. So see here 1 to 2 demultiplexer. So here 1 you will pass as an input and 2 it will produce as a number of outputs. Any one of the output from the 2. So how many selection lines required? 2 power n is nothing but 2 power 1. So how many selection requires? N is equal to 1. That is 1 selection line. And 1 to 4 demultiplexer. Here you have to pass as input as 1 and it will produce as the 4 outputs. 4 you can write as 2 power 2. That is n is equal to 2. So here how many selection lines required? N is equal to 2. Consider 1 to 8 demultiplexer. You have to pass the input as 1 and it produces the output 8 outputs. 8 can be written as 2 power 3. That is n is equal to 3 selection lines. And you have to pass input as 1 and it produces the 16 outputs. So 16 you can write as 2 power 4. So how many selection lines required for 1 to 16 demultiplexer? 4 selection lines. Is it clear? What is the concept of demultiplexer? You can pass single input as source and it will produce as a 2 power n outputs as the destination. So how many selection lines require means n selection lines required. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then this is the application of demultiplexer. What is the main application of demultiplexer means? Communication system. What is the main application of demultiplexer means? Communication system. Here there is only one source, that is system, your system. There are number of destinations that you can access the data by and you can deliver the data. That is nothing but One is nothing but laser printer, fax machine, color inkjet printer, and pen plotter. So you have to send one fax or one printer or ఇంకేమైనా తీసుకో. సో అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తే this is the communication system. Here we have to one single source, that is a computer, and multiple destinations are this. You can choose any one of you can deliver from one single source to multiple outputs, either a laser printer, fax machine, on color inkjet printer, or pen plotter. You can choose any one of these outputs. Our output means you can take printout or something fax to other and pen plotter, and you can take the printing, that is by using laser printer or by using color inkjet printer. You can choose any one of these possible output combinations. We can choose any one of these possible output combinations. So demultiplexer, what is the main application of demultiplexer is communication system. Then next only one solution, one among there are told so many types of demultiplexers are there, that is 1 to 2 and 1 to 4, 1 to 8, 1 to 16. I can told only one is 1 to 4 demultiplexer. Here only, that is we can pass one single line, transmission line, as input, that is X. So 1 to 4 means the name itself, here 4 outputs, that is 4 outputs. How many selection lines required? 2 selection lines. I can name as A and B. A and B. So these are the selection lines A and B. So based on selection lines, we can choose any one of these outputs, that is D0, D1, D2, D3. Okay. So here we can consider as 0, 0. 0, 0 means here I will use a don't care condition. Don't care condition means we have to put either 0 or 1. So either 0 or 1. Why we will take as don't care condition here? Totally 4 combinations. That is here I can write as either 0, 0 or 0, 0, 1. Ante there are two input selection lines. There are two selection lines. Based on that, I can choose for D0 either 0 or D1. Sorry, 1. And also for D1 also, I will choose either 0 or 1. D2 either 0 or 1. And D3 either 0 or 1. So for this, like we will consider as 1 to 4 demultiplexer. So here we will take as A, B as 0, 0. A input 0, sorry, A selection line and B selection line. So A selection line is 0 and B selection line is 0. A selection line is 0 and B selection line is 0. So here there are 1 to 4 multiplexer. 1 to 4 multiplexer means, so here X is the input. X you can pass either 1 or 0. X you can pass as either 1 or 0. So that's why here don't care condition is, so D0 we will place as don't care condition. If X input is 0, don't care condition is replaced with 0. If X is equal to 1, don't care condition is replaced with 1. Ante here X value 0, 1 is 0 and X value is 1. So D0 will act like this, either 0 or 1. If X is equal to 0, D0 also 0. If X is equal to 1, D1 is also 0. Sorry, 1. Like this, we can put here don't care conditions. So here A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 0. A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 0. And X is passed as 0. And X is passed as 0. So A is equal to 0. So this line is going to here. So A is complemented, that is A is 1. And next B is complemented and B is 1. And if X is equal to 0, if X is equal to 0, so and what is this here? 0 into 1, 0. So here the output D naught is equal to 0. So other if take as X is equal to 1 and A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 0. So A is complemented here, that is A is 1, B is complemented, so B is 1 and X is equal to 1. So 1 into 1 into 1, so the D naught value is 1. The D naught value is 1. Is it clear? If you take as X as input 1, automatically the D naught output also 1. If A is equal to B is equal to 0 and X is equal to 1, D naught is equal to 1. If A is equal to B is equal to 0 and X is equal to 0, D naught is equal to 0. That's why here D naught we will consider as don't care condition. Is it clear? And same input values you can consider. When A is equal to 0, B is equal to 0 and X is equal to 0. Calculate D1, D2, D3. So A, here which line is going first? A is equal to 0 and B is complemented. So B is equal to 1 and X is equal to 0. So the total value is D1 is nothing but 0. When A is equal to B is equal to 0 and X is equal to 1, calculate D1. So here what value? A is equal to 0 and here B is equal to 1 and X is equal to 1. So 1, 1, 0. So here D1 also 0 and D2 calculate. So D2 A is equal to here 1 and B will be considered as 0 and X1. So 1, 0, 1. So automatically AND all ones are there, the output will be 1. Here also 0. And take X is equal to 0 and A is equal to 0, B is equal to 0 and calculate D2. So here A 0 covered, here 1, here B is nothing but 0 and X is nothing but 0. 0 into anything 0. So that's why D1, D2, D3 all are, you calculate either X is equal to 1 or X is equal to 0 or the output value D1, D2, D3 are 0, must and should. Whereas considered A is equal to B is equal to 0 and X is equal to 1. So D naught will be 1. And A is equal to B is equal to 0 and X is equal to 0. D naught must and should be 0. That's why here we considered as don't care condition. ఎందుకు ఇక్కడ don't care condition పెట్టాం అర్థమైంది కదండి? Is it clear? Why we will consider take D naught only don't care condition? Is it clear or not? Anyways, memory and programmable logic. The fifth unit is memory and programmable logic. What is memory, Andy? What is memory? You know na, what is memory? What is the primary memory, secondary memory, RAM, ROM? And programmable logic. In this unit, we will study what is random access memory and what is the memory decoding, coincident decoding, and error detection and corrections, and PAL, that is programmable array logic, programmable logic array. These are the concepts we will study in the memory and programmable logic. So, in memory and programmable logic, we will study in detail what is the RAM, what is memory decoding, what is error detection and correction, what is the PLA, PALs, that is programmable logic array, programmable array logic. So, we will discuss in detail each and every concept in this unit. So, first introduction. So, what is the purpose of memory here? What is the purpose of memory? Already you know, first time you will you studied somewhat information technology, that is IT lab. What is a memory, Andy? A memory unit is nothing but it is a device. A memory is nothing but it is a device to
Store
which
information.
storing the information. That is, it will store the binary information is transferred for storage. So it will store the binary information and from which information is retrieved when needed for processing. So memory is nothing but it is using for storing data. So here, how many types of memories are there? There are two types of memories. Already you know there are two types of memories that are used in our digital systems. There are two types of memories that are used in our digital system. One is RAM, another one is ROM. One is RAM, another one is ROM. RAM is nothing but random access memory. RAM is nothing but random access memory. ROM is nothing but read only memory. What is the main difference between RAM and ROM? Which one is volatile and which one is non-volatile? RAM means random access memory. That is, it will perform both the read operation and write operation. Right? It will perform both the read operation and write operation. But ROM, it will perform only a read operation only. It will perform only a read operation only. And what is the main difference between RAM and ROM? Which one is volatile and which one is non-volatile? Tell me anyone. Volatile and non-volatile means RAM is a volatile, whereas ROM is a non-volatile. When the power is off, automatically the data will be lost by using RAM. That is nothing but volatile. Non-volatile means ROM. When the power is off also, the data will not be lost. That is the difference between volatile and non-volatile. Is it clear what is volatile and what is non-volatile? So volatile means RAM structure ni volatile అంటారండి. When the power is off, automatically the data will be lost. When the power is off, automatically the data will be lost. That is volatile memory. RAM is a volatile. ROM, when the power is off, the data will not be lost. That is nothing but ROM is a non-volatile memory. So here the ROM is a programmable logic device that our units are the PLAs, PALs, and FPGA, that is Field Programmable Gate Array. So here there are RAM అనేది RAM అనేది there are two types. One is static RAM, another one is dynamic RAM. RAM can be divided into two types. One is static RAM, another one is dynamic RAM. ROM can be divided into three types. That is PROM, programmable read-only memory. EPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory. EEPROM, electrical erasable programmable read-only memory. So ROM, can be divided into three types: PROM, EPROM, and EEPROM. So here, that is the introduction about memory. So there are two types of memories, RAM and ROM. RAM is performing both read operation and write operation, and it is a volatile memory. And read-only memory performs only read operations only. It will perform both. Sorry, it will perform only read operation only. So it is a non-volatile memory. So like the read-only memory is a programmable logic device. The read-only memory is a programmable logic device. There are such of different such units are there. That is programmable logic array, programmable array logic, and field programmable gate array. This is the conventional symbols. This is the conventional symbols for using array logic. Conventional and array logic by using the OR gates. So we have to take one programmable logic device. It may have hundreds to millions of gates interconnected through hundreds to thousands of internal paths. This is the conventional symbol for OR gate. This is the array logic symbol for OR gate. You know this type of structure, that is OR gate. This is array logic symbol for OR gate. So this is the conventional and array logic for OR gate. So here we have to take one programmable logic device. The gates are interconnected, not only one or two. It may have hundreds to millions of gates interconnected through the hundreds to thousands of internal paths. That is introduction about memory. That is the introduction about memory. So there are two types of memories: RAM, ROM. RAM is a non-volatile and ROM is a non-volatile. RAM performs both read operation and write operation. ROM performs only read operation only. The first concept is random access memory. The first concept is random access memory. So what is the random access memory? I will already told you random access memory is nothing but it performs both read operation and write operation. So here a memory is nothing but it is a collection of cells. Memory is nothing but it is a collection of storage cells together with associated circuit needed to transform information into and out of a device. So a memory is nothing but a memory unit is nothing but collection of storage cells. So for example, we have a memory unit stores some binary information. So in group of bits, a memory unit stores binary information in group of bits. So it is called as words. Word and memory, it is a group of bytes. Byte and memory, it is a group of bits. So simply a memory unit stores binary information in group of bits called words. For example, one byte is equal to how many bits? 8 bits. One word is equal to how many bits? 16 bits. The 16 bits will be converted into bytes. It is nothing but 2 bytes. That is nothing but 2 bytes. So here we have to communicate between memory and its environment. You have to communicate between memory and its environment is achieved through data inputs and output lines, address selection lines, and control lines that specify a direction transfer. You have to communicate between memory and its environment, and it is achieved through only either data input and data output lines, address selection lines, and control lines that specify the direction to transfer. So this is the block diagram of memory unit here. Block diagram of memory unit. See here, we have to communicate between memory and its environment. So here we have to consider it as n data input lines provide the information to be stored in memory. N data input lines. Here there are n data input lines. What is here? Here you have n data input lines. Provide the information to be stored in memory. Provide the information to be stored in memory. And it produces n data output lines. N data output lines supply the information ఏదైతే మీరు సప్లై చేస్తున్నారు ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అది coming out from the memory. Coming out from the memory. So here we have to choose k address lines, specify the which word you have to particularly chosen among the many available data, among the many available words. So k address line means you have to specify address line which word you have to choose among more number of words. That is here see there are memory unit 2 power k words. We have to choose only n bit per word. Okay. Then you have to apply either read operation or write operation. So there are two control inputs. The write input engine it causes binary data to be transferred into the memory. And we have to write the data into the memory. And read request ఏం చేస్తుందండి, it will get the data out of the memory. It will get the data అంటే binary data to be transferred out of memory. That is a block diagram of memory unit. So a memory unit consists of you have to pass n data inputs into the memory and you will get based on k address line we have to choose n data output lines. Here you have to perform either read operation or write operation. Write operation means you have to write a word into the memory. Read operation means that causes binary data to be transferred out of the memory. That is the block diagram of memory unit. Okay. So here we take and consider one example. That is 1024 by 16 memory. 1024 by 16 memory. Here how the content of a memory is there. So here the memory unit is specified by the number of words. Already I told you the memory unit is specified by the number of words and the number of bits in each word. 1024 by 16 memory. You have to study 1024 by 16 memory. Here you have to consider each word in memory is assigned an identification number that is called an address that is starts from 2 power 0 to 2 power k minus 1. 0 to 2 power k minus 1. So this is the address, memory address. So it is binary undi as well as decimal undi. So there are binary and as well as decimal. So here starting address that is from 0. 0 to 2 power k minus 1. That is 1023. That is 1023. So what is the 2 power 16 value? 2 power 16 value. So here we have to take the input as addresses as 2 power k minus 1. So 2 power k value is nothing but 10. K value is nothing but 10. So 2 power 10 is nothing but 1024 minus 1. 1024 minus 1, that is 1023. So here 102 1023. Then equivalent decimal, sorry, binary number and equivalent binary number. So decimal 1038, then equivalent binary number. So in this way, first we have to identify the binary and decimal can be represented by the memory address. Memory address can contain both the binary address and decimal address. Here the memory content is there. The memory content. So here the memory content, that value will be represented in hexadecimal. So here is the only example. You can write any content here, not only 10101011. You have to write 110110. But here how many bits? Each word contain how many bits here? 16 bits. Each word can contain how many bits here? 16 bits. So totally, see this diagram. Here 2 power k words. A memory unit can contain 2 power k words. 2 power k is nothing but k, we will assume that there 10. That is 2 power 10. N bits per word. N is nothing but 16. We will assume that 16. So that's why here we have to represent like this statement 1024 by 16 memory. That means in the memory unit, totally 1024 words are there. Each and every word can contain 16 bits. Is it clear this statement 1024 by 16 memory? Yes or no? Hello? Anyone respond? Is it clear or not? Any doubts in this particular table content of 1024 by 16 memory? Whereas this is the K is nothing but kilobyte. Whereas M is nothing but megabyte. G is nothing but gigabyte. So K must and should is equal to, that is kilobyte is equal to 2 power 10, megabyte is equal to 2 power 20, and gigabyte is equal to 2 power 30. So in this unit, memory unit, with the capacity of only 1k words, 1k words is nothing but 2 power 10. 1k words, and each word can contain 16 bits. Each word can contain 16 bits. So 16 bits is nothing but 2 bytes. 2 bytes, 1 byte is equal to 8. That is 2 into 8 is equal to 16. Okay. So here we have to performing the read operation and write operation. What is the write operation and read operation? So the RAM can perform write operation and read operation. So here the write signal specifies, the write signal specifies transfer in operation. The write signal specifies transfer in, ante we have to store the data into the memory, that is transfer into the memory. And read operation specifies transfer out operation. So write operation is nothing but transfer in operation, it will be performed. Sorry, write operation. Transfer in operation. And then you have to write something data. Automatically it will store into the memory. Read operation. It is a transfer out operation. We have to getting the data from the memory. That is the read operation and write operation. The first we have to assume that transferring a new word. Okay? You have to assume that one new word to be stored into the memory. So one new word will be stored into the memory. So first what you have to perform here, apply the binary address so of the desired word. So apply the binary address of the desired word to the address lines. Okay. Next, apply the data bits that must be stored in memory. Apply the data bits that must be stored in the memory. And later only you have to activate the write input. So you have to write the data into the memory. For example, you have to assume you have to transfer one word, that is new word, to be stored into the memory. Then what actions we will take? First, apply the binary address. You have to apply the binary ante is location, that desired word to the address lines. Next, apply the data bits. So whatever you have to store the data, that data bits you have to apply must and should be stored into the memory to the data input lines. And last one is activate the write input. Tarvata you have to activate the write input. So the memory unit will then take the bits from the input data. So here then the memory unit will take the input data from n data input lines and store them into a word. Whatever you have to specify the address, ఇక్కడ k అడ్రస్ లైన్స్ ఉన్నాయండి. సో మీరు ఫస్ట్ రైట్ చేయాలి అంటే ఒక న్యూ వర్డ్ ని రైట్ చేయాలి అంటే దట్ విల్ బి n data input lines. You have to apply the binary address of the desired word and apply the data bits. So address ఇచ్చిన తర్వాత ఏం చేయాలి, you have to apply the data bits. Must and should be stored into the memory to the data input lines, and later only you have to activate the write input. Is it clear how to perform the write operation? So here you have to perform whatever data address lines you have to store. First you have to give the address lines, later we have to apply the address lines is the later you have to apply the data. సో ఆ తర్వాత మీరు ఏం చేయాలి, యూ హ్యావ్ టు యాక్టివేట్ ద రైట్. సో అప్పుడు రైట్ అయితే ఏమవుతుంది, ఆటోమేటికల్ ద డేటా విల్ బి గోన్ టు ద రైటింగ్ ఇన్ టు ద మెమరీ యూనిట్. నెక్స్ట్ రీడ్ ఆపరేషన్ అప్లై చేయాలి. వెన్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు అప్లై రీడ్ ఆపరేషన్, యూ హ్యావ్ టు ట్రాన్స్ఫరింగ్ ఏ స్టోర్డ్ వర్డ్. సో వాట్ ఎవర్ ద వర్డ్ విల్ బి స్టోర్డ్, whatever the words we will store into that memory, whatever the words you will be stored into the memory, you can choose any one of the word want to read operation, and that means we have to transfer out that word into the memory. We have to transfer out from the memory. That means apply the address lines and a storage location of the desired word to the address lines and activate the read input. There is no need to give n data input lines. So here we have to read the data only, and you have to apply the address lines for the data and activate the read input. Those two steps are enough. We have to accessing the data by using the read. So that is the steps here, write and read operations. So the write operation, this one is read operation. So transferring a stored word out of memory. So you have to apply the binary address of the desired word to the address lines, activate the read input. So this is the control inputs to memory chip. సో మీరు మెమరీ చిప్ మీద కంట్రోల్ ఇన్పుట్స్ అనేది మెమరీ ఎనేబుల్ దట్ ఈస్ 0 అయితే దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఎనేబుల్. సో రీడ్ అండ్ రైట్ ఆపరేషన్స్ విల్ నాట్ పర్ఫామ్. If memory enable is 1 and here read or write operation is 0, 0 means it will write the selected data into the memory. 0 means it will perform write operation. If memory enable is 1 and read write is 1, it enables the read operation. Is it clear? So there are two control inputs to memory chip. If memory enable is 0, then it will not perform any read and write operation. Why? Memory enable disabled. 0 means it must be disabled. If memory enable is 1 and read write means either you have to choose either read operation or write operation, not both at the same time. So here if it is 0 means it will perform write to selected word into the memory. Read write is equal to 1 means it will perform read operation, that means read some data from the memory. That is the read and write operations. Read and write operations. So is it clear what is read and write operations? Any doubts? We'll explain what are the timing waveforms, and later we have to see types of memories, that is static RAM, dynamic RAM, and types of memories, that is ROM low. We will see what is the memory decoding and 4x4 RAM coincident decoding. Tomorrow we will discuss these topics. Okay.